Over the last year or so, hopefully you have heard that real estate transactions are going to crash and actually have crashed about 40%. Because transactions have crashed 40%, it should not be a shock to anyone that real estate agents are starting to quit the business. We headed into this cycle at peak numbers, and with transactions being down 40%, there's a lot of people not making enough money in this business. I want to acknowledge that fact. It should be obvious to everyone. I think it is kind of comical that people are saying, hey, look, real estate agents are quitting. I'm like, hey, look, 40% crash. It kind of makes sense. But I want to actually talk to the real estate agents that are still in the business, because I have some real estate agents on my channel every week, Omar, Adrian, Beth, and a few others that are doing it the right way. So Dion, first let's talk about real estate agents today. Obviously, you just wrote a contract. You're getting an agent paid. And then I want to talk about what I think real estate agents should be doing today. What do you think? Transactions crashed 40%. There's less agents. Is that shocking?
So the first thing to note is a lot of people, when they hear real estate crash, of course, they go to the crash bros and they say, well, prices are going to plummet because insert any reason.
Yeah.
You know, eviction moratorium, pandemic, stock market crash, prices are too high, rates are too high, prices aren't crashing. If prices crashed, real estate agents would make a ton of money. Because how many people would be pouncing on every deal if prices were crashing? So there'd be more transactions. So the idea that it's harder to qualify for a loan, you're actually penalized now if you have a high credit score. People can't qualify for the high price and high rate. So some people are doing some things like I'm doing. That property that I have under contract is a live-in BRRRR. I'm using my own money, not hard money, to purchase it. I'm going to rehab one side. The other side is already rent ready. And then I might refinance at the end. So it's a live-in BRRRR with my own money because of cash, fixing the problem of the interest rates that are going on right now. But that's very few transactions. To get this to happen, this property's been on the MLS for over 100 days. I'm going to step back and say, you know, real estate agents are quitting, and tying that to the crash in transactions, I think, is going to sound like clicky, like people are going to click on it, not clickbait, but they're going to click on those titles and go, oh, why are real estate agents quitting? Because they do every year.
It's a hard job, right?
It's a hard job. So many people jump in and think, I'm going to do this part-time, and not realizing that, okay, you have the person doing this full-time and the person doing it part-time needs to have the same skill set. So the ramp-up learning curve isn't different if you're just going to do a couple of deals a year. Then even worse, there's those people who say, well, I want to get my realtor's license so I can have access to the MLS, I can do my own deals, and I could save on commissions. And I'm thinking, okay, you're going to save on commissions. You have the cost of training, cost of testing, cost of licensure, access to the MLS, brokerage fees, taxes on the income that you have. And then if you're getting your license to do your own deals, would you hire a realtor who's only ever had one customer? That's what you're doing. That's the skill level that you're working with. So I think that there are always people who are there's a churn to realtors, and there is a right way to do it for each person and a wrong way. And most people pick the wrong way. They pick, I'm going to go sit in a realtor's office on a Saturday and wait for walk-ins. I have a friend he's done it probably 8 years, but a total of 6 months. Right? Spread out he gets all into it for 2 or 3 weeks, and he goes and you realize, people don't come in on a Saturday and just buy a house or come in to ask me to sell their house. Almost everything's done online. So the not making income. And then if they say, well, I want to get my realtor's license, the worst case scenario is I quit my job, got my realtor's license so I can invest in real estate. Well, now you don't have consistent income. You have you have an income change from the type. So lenders aren't going to even talk to you. You have inconsistent income, so you're not going to save for the down payment. And those people end up going back to work, killing their investing goals because they tried to make a work shift.
Yeah, I think there's so many things. And I actually think realtors coming out of this crisis, because again, a 40% transaction crash is obviously going to make less realtor and frankly less brokerage. Let's even go up a stack. There will be brokerages that shut down because they can't fund operations, right? 40% less commissions is a crash without question. But the investor or the real estate agents that I know, and I think I talk to 6 of them every week, they actually act like investors. Either A, they're networking with investors because investors buy more than one deal a year, perhaps. They're increasing their skill sets. They understand you could buy different ways. They're looking for opportunities to buy deals from their portfolio, like the deal that you got 100 days on market for 30% off on the MLS. That agent should have known that that deal was possible and found a way to get that deal done, right? A duplex, one unit paying one unit. There's lots of ways you could have got that deal done. I think real estate agents, one of my guys, Ty, on Fridays, he talks about agents being hybrid, right? You have multiple ways. And Jason Pritchard, my Sunday expert, best investor in my market, every lead he kind of puts through a chain, right? It could be a listing, it could be cash, it could be 30-year money, it could be this, could be that. I think real estate agents that survive the next 2 years, because it will be a crash in agent participation, are the ones that have multiple streams of income. You could take a lead and treat it other than, hey, I'll hold an open house for you, right? Agents, you need to skill up. You need to realize you're operating in an environment that is changing fast. And you can make so much more money and build wealth by owning versus getting, a 3% commission. I think agents really need to look themselves in the mirror and frankly be better.
What's always confusing, that statistic that I hear often of 90% of realtors never own one investment property. But if you look at being a real estate agent as growing a side hustle, I think you're more likely to be successful. We don't start a side hustle and go, I'm going to go do this lawn care business on the weekend to try to make some extra money. And if that money doesn't come in, I can't pay my rent.
Yeah.
Right. We're going to go and do this extra work, lose our extra time to generate some extra income that we would try to put to work. So if you're looking at becoming a realtor and you look at it as a side hustle that could generate income that you don't need, you're more likely to be able to live through the famine times. And then there's the method that Graham Stephan used to grow his real estate. So in the very beginning, when he was 18, 19, he was out of high school. He'd had a job for a very short period of time, never had a long-term W-2 job, but he started working doing lease signatures. Yeah. So he would sign people up for rentals, planning on in a couple of years, they'll probably become buyers, and you're building that client list over time. And then Graham would have the really inconsistent income where he'd go 6 months with nothing, sell a $600,000 house, a couple months with nothing. So he started buying investment properties, started to house hack, started to add, I think at most, I think he had like 7 properties at one time. So it's not like he had a huge portfolio, but his goal was some money from rentals so that he could survive the time when there's no money coming in from real estate. And if you're just getting into real estate, you should be planning on this being real spiky income and long periods of time with no income. And if you've been doing this for years, you should have hopefully seen cycles and understood that you needed to be ready for when interest rates go up and prices, they don't come down when interest rates go up. Buying power does, which means less purchases can be purchased. Exactly. So I think there's a lot of people every year, there's a lot of people who leave being realtors because it's a hard job, and it actually is a job. And can you imagine thinking, well, I want to be a realtor because I don't want to work 40 hours a week. My poor agent, like 90% of our conversations are after 8 o'clock at night. Yeah. And on a Sunday and on his vacation. Right. Right. That's not a 40-hour a week job. He's also an investor. He's also buying pretty much the same type of properties that I am. So he gets that that's how this has to work, and he's very successful. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I just want to highlight that we will have less realtors in the business, less licensed realtors in the business over the next 18 months. The ones that survive this and come out the other side, it will be really good. I just suggest you skill up. You do what Graham Stephan did, or maybe meet Kevin back with a 203K loan. Own some stuff. Wealth is built from owning, and you're in the deal flow. You have these conversations. The fact that you're not less than 90% ever own an investment property, don't be part of that 90%. Be part of the 10%. Dion, where can people find you?
You can find me right here on YouTube, Dion Talk Financial Freedom. Hey, Mike, say hello. Zuber and everybody. That's Millennial Mike dropping in randomly.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
Ciao.